Good evening and welcome to Ukraine Brief. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska. Today is day 1471 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Here are the latest developments. Kremlin strikes continue to ravage Ukraine. Over the past day, at least 7 people have been killed in Russian attacks and around 24 others have been wounded. 2 people were killed in Kramatorsk of the Donetsk region and another 5 wounded due to Russian attacks. Local authorities also reported that at least 1 apartment block was completely destroyed, while 2 others were damaged. In the Kherson region, authorities reported that at least 3 people were killed and another 5 wounded following Russian strikes. The center of the city of Kherson was targeted in the attacks, setting fire to 4 cars. Over the past day, Russian attacks in the northeastern Kharkiv region killed 2 women and injured 13 others, including a child. At least 2 people were wounded in central eastern Dnipropetrovsk region following Russian artillery, drone and guided bomb attacks, according to authorities. A school in the city of Kryvyi Rih and private homes were damaged after the city came under a massive attack by Russian kamikaze drones. In the Kharkiv and Sumy regions, Russian attacks killed 2 people and wounded 16 more. Today, 200 Ukrainian prisoners of war returned home from Russian captivity as part of a swap brokered by the United States and the United Arab Emirates. As part of peace negotiations in Geneva in February, Russia and Ukraine reportedly agreed to a 500 for 500 prisoner exchange to take place between March 5th and 6th. Ukraine's human rights ombudsman, Dmytro Lubinets, said that today's swap represents the first stage in the agreement. Lubinets added that many of the released Ukrainian prisoners are in precarious psychological conditions and critically underweight. As part of today's swap, Ukraine also handed over 200 Russian prisoners of war who were reportedly transferred to Belarus. This comes after the Moscow and Kyiv's last prisoner exchange on February 5th that returned 157 Ukrainians home from captivity. Ukraine has denounced the transfer of 2 Ukrainian-Hungarian prisoners of war from Russia to Hungary. This comes after the Hungarian Foreign Minister Péter Szijjártó met with Vladimir Putin yesterday in Moscow and returned to Hungary with the 2 prisoners of war. Both men hold dual citizenship of Ukraine and Hungary and are from the western Transcarpathia region of Ukraine. Their transfer to Hungary, however, was met with criticism in Kyiv. Ukraine's headquarters for the coordination of treatment of prisoners of war said in a statement today that the move was contrary to international law. Kyiv added that the 2 soldiers were transferred without Ukraine's consent. On social media today, Foreign Minister Szijjártó praised the return of the soldiers and said that Hungary must, quote, protect every Hungarian, unquote. Ukraine's foreign ministry has now reportedly summoned the Hungary's envoy to Kyiv over the incident. The European Commission's plans to bring Ukraine into the bloc through so-called reversed accession have been largely dismissed by member states. The revelation represents as a major blow to Kyiv's membership first, integration later aspirations with the EU. According to Euronews, citing several unnamed ambassadors, an informal dinner took place on Wednesday evening with the European Commission. At the dinner, the reversed accession idea was reportedly presented and subsequently dismissed by those present. Under the proposal, Ukraine would formally become a member of the EU, but would only acquire membership benefits with time and by meeting certain criteria. The idea, which would radically change the procedure for EU accession, was also never formally put in writing by the European Commission. The move has put a damper on Ukraine's hopes for accelerated EU accession, a proposal that has been included in peace proposals aimed at ending Russia's war. We will break the Ukrainian oil blockade by force, said Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán on his X platform, addressing the issue of the Druzhba pipeline, using inflammatory language as the spat between Ukraine, Hungary and Slovakia deepens, with Orbán and Fico accusing Ukraine of deliberately hindering oil deliveries from Russia.
We will win, and we will win by force. We have political and financial tools, and we will compel them, unconditionally and preferably as soon as possible, to reopen the Friendship oil pipeline. I want to make it clear that we will win here, and we will win by force. So I will make no pact. There will be no compromise. We will defeat them. We will break the oil blockade. We will force the Ukrainians to restart deliveries. Not through business, not through agreement, not through compromise, but by force.
Criticizing Hungarian Prime Minister for blocking a €90 billion EU aid package, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said some principles simply have no price, denouncing the idea of supplying Russian oil to help Orbán win elections.
To be honest, I would not restore the pipeline. This is my position. I said it to the leaders of Europe, and I told those who called me with this issue, as well as to the leadership of the European Union. Because this is Russian oil. There are some things, principles, that simply have no price. The Russians are killing us, and we're supposed to give poor little Orbán oil because without it he won't win elections? We hope that one person in the European Union will not block 90 billion or the first tranche of 90 billion, and Ukrainian soldiers will have weapons. Otherwise, we will give the address of this person to our armed forces, our guys. Let them call him, speak with him in their own language.
And so that's all from Ukraine for now. Thank you for joining. You are watching the Ukraine Brief, and I was your host, Klaudia Czerwińska.